Good morning, Eric with Perry Hill Farms, and this morning it is the first Saturday in November, and we've been working on some different projects, trying to get some stuff done. And I think Danette got a video of us finishing the rocks in the greenhouse, and we started working on cleaning up the raised bed. So these are the pepper plants. We've been getting peppers off of these all year, and we just needed to get them up. We could probably, since we've had really warm weather, I mean it's probably 70 degrees this morning at 9 o'clock, and we could probably let these go and get a little bit more off of them, but we've got onions and carrots that we want to get in the ground to overwinter them, so we want to get them ready. So I've got to clean up these beds a little bit. That's what I'm going to be working on this morning. And then we also have to tackle, let me spin it around, tackle there it is, hog pen right there. It's weird doing that backwards with my finger. It's not where your mind thinks it is, right there. So we want to make some adjustments with the hog pen before the new hog boar comes, and it's running by very quickly before he gets here. And so I got to get started on that today. So here we go. Let's clean this mess up and get started. Had to go back and get the tripod. One thing you realize about doing videos for people to watch is if you're trying to work quickly to get projects done, it doesn't always work when you're trying to video it, because especially if you by yourself, or you're like, oh, I forgot this, I got to get that, get it set up, find out which angle. So it is sometimes almost comical. You're like trying to get this done but yet I do want to get, content for people to see what's going on. But ran back to the house, got the tripod, we can get it set up. So getting some of this cleaned up. This is mulch that is starting to break down into dirt. There's worms and stuff in there. I'm just going to add some of this mulch to this raised bed. Pull out this stuff, scratch it up, add it to this raised bed. And this stuff's been breaking down for, probably 4 or 5 months, 6 months. And add a little light layer of that on that, and then add some more compost on top, or just some good dirt. But sometimes the tractor can't get in certain spots, so you got to do it manually. And I try to pick out anything that's trying to grow in it from the ground, but these bad boys like that, yeah, they help your soil for sure. Another worm. Well, honestly, I don't know what that is. If somebody knows, let me know. I'll have to research that one. That's a big old dude right there. Talking about big old dude. Huh. What say you? We'll have to research it and see if we can find out what that is. There's a wasp nest up under the lip of this metal. Hi, I see you. Well, I'll avoid that. It's a little one, but I'm gonna try to scratch up a little bit of this with the tractor, smooth it out. I gotta get the edges around here, and then we'll get back to you. All right, folks, so apparently this is what they call a red-headed pasture cockchafer, and it is basically getting close to its hatching phase, and it turns into this beetle, large dark beetle, which I've seen before around here. Didn't know this is what they come from, but I found two in the pile of wood chips, and deep in these wood chips, and apparently these things can hurt your garden. There's another one up under here. You can see that wood, if you can see it right, it's moving under there. It's done crawled up under that wood, those wood shavings. But they apparently lay their larvae sometime in August, and then these things, grubs, these white grubs, start to grow and hatch between late October to December. Basically what I mean hatch, they'll turn from this white grub to a dark beetle, and I actually saw one of the dark beetles over here in some of these wood clippings. So that would have been a full-grown male. If I find one, I'll try to get a video of that. But these things are not good for your plants. So like for potatoes or things like that, it could potentially, they eat on the roots. Now when they become a beetle, they don't bother the plants. But something we'll have to watch. Just doing some research on it. They say they're bad about attacking pastures and crops like that in the field. They like dense pasture growth, and people dig up little spots and count how many larvae are in there if they need to treat it. But I'll talk to Stumpy. Oh, here's a good picture. You can see them right. You can see the white of them right there as he's digging. See, he's burying himself under those wood chippings. This one hadn't figured out how to get over there yet. But anyways, I learned something new today. So we'll need to pay closer attention to that. I'll see those from time to time. I've seen smaller versions. I just not quite seen them that big before. And I guess I didn't know what they were. And that makes a little more sense to me. So we'll monitor that a little closer, because that does say it can affect your crop, because they will tend to eat on the roots. So we'll watch that. All right, so this is compost dirt. This is from 2 years ago. That's right, I had to think about this. So last winter's I have over there that I haven't touched yet. This is the winter before. You can see what that's turned to. Now remember, in the previous videos you see me do it, this was just hay and poop. And this is what it's turned into. So now I'm gonna add it to these beds. I added a little bit of the wood chips, and I'm gonna add this, spread it to this bed, add a little bit to this bed, and then we'll be ready to plant onions in that. So I'm gonna spread this out real quick and see if I have enough there. Well, I would mess with them, but I'm afraid they'll get mad at me. But I need to. I'll get Denise to get me some spray here in a minute. Ooh, I done bumped him. He done got mad now. I'll work up here for right now. I'm breaking this up. There's a few clumps of hay that's still kind of breaking down. That I'll rake it Okay, I dealt with the wasp situation. That way I could work around here without them. There was about 4 of them. Little guinea wasp nest. And I'm just breaking up some of these clumps. Some of this stuff still has some old hay in it that's gonna break down, but that's good. Breaking it up by hand. Some of this is should have some good stuff in it. And I think I'm gonna do the onions a little different than we did last time. As far as planting, I saw a thing on planting their onions with these 2x4s as your guides, and you can plant them a little closer, and with use some good organic potting soil to start them in the beds, and then let it go after that. So, and then there'll be a nice tight rows. And I think in here, to get this right, I can probably do 4 rows of bed. Easy. I think I should be able to get 4 rows in these beds. And there's a big old clump. Probably wouldn't be as clumpy if I'd have rolled it a little bit more over the last year, but it's okay. Hopefully it's got some good nutrients in it. Now on to bed number 2, up there. So we're gonna go get some more on the tractor and get it in there. Here we go. Mix this in a little bit. See what we got here. There's a little bit of old hay right there. Still a little mucky. That's at the bottom. But we'll spread it around. Get some dry stuff to put on top of it. Let it finish breaking down in this bed. May not have to do all this, but it makes me feel better to separate it all up. Break it up. These worms that are in this bed will start getting in this too. Breaking it all up, pooping in it. Amazing how much moisture this holds. You know, we haven't had rain since Hurricane Helene, which has probably been a good 4 to 6 weeks now. 6 weeks. I can't remember the exact date. But in this pile, in the middle of this pile, where this hay and old compost is breaking down, it's still moist. And I mean, my gloves are pure moist in there. And this is probably the one section I got that was probably a little too much of the wet hay that still hadn't broken down, but it's been 2 years. I'm gonna spread it out and add a little bit of wood chips to it. Scratch it around. So I'll finish this up. All right, this is one of the new beds, and I'm going to start spreading this around. This is a little better than that other wet hay there that we had. Get that little green out. little different when you don't have that refined compost you get when you buy it, but hopefully it'll save us money and accomplish the task here. What better thing to do on a Saturday, right? Finish this bit up. Let me get it finished. So I'm gonna put a little bit more wood chips on the top, and then I'm gonna put a little bit more dirt on top of that, just enough to mix it all in. And then I'll wet it real good, let it settle. All right, so I added some more composted dirt to the top of this. And I ran out, so we're gonna have to get some to put on this. So I may get some black cow or something like that, just to get a good layer on top of that, so it's multiple layered. We'll see how that works. And got those two done over there, and this one's ready for carrots, so we may go ahead and lay them, get some water on them, let these beds settle down. So it's time to stop for a little while and get me something to eat and drink. So thank y'all for watching, and remember, a simple life is a much more enjoyable life. See you on the next video.